This is The Gist, the essential podcast for the discerning listener.
Good morning. It's Thursday, June 18th. I'm John.
And I'm Mary. We're your smart friends on the go, cutting through the noise to get you the gist.
Let's start with the big picture. Today, it's all about the return of the adult in the room. We are seeing global central banks, both in Washington and Europe, trying to wrestle control back from a world that has been relying on wartime emergency measures for far too long.
Exactly. That's our gist view today. For years, politicians and markets have relied on crisis-era cover. If inflation spiked, we blamed the war. If growth slowed, we blamed the supply chain. Well, those excuses are expiring.
Think of it like a restaurant that's been blaming its high prices on broken delivery trucks. But the trucks are running again. If the prices stay high, it's not the trucks anymore, it's the restaurant's management.
And that's what we're seeing. Central banks are choosing to keep costs high to protect their long-term credibility, even when it hurts. It's a power play. They are signalling that they, not the politicians, set the price of money.
Let's get into the details. Global overview, starting with the Federal Reserve in Washington.
Fed Chair Kevin Warsh made his move. He held interest rates steady between 3.5% and 3.75%. Markets were hoping he'd fold and lower them, but he didn't.
This was a clear message. Warsh is prioritising his institution's mandate over the White House's political pressure. He's showing that Fed independence isn't a suggestion, it's the law of the land.
And the market felt it immediately. Copper prices, which usually track how much the world is building and growing, fell over 1%. Traders realised that the Fed isn't going to artificially juice the economy. The easy money party is over.
Meanwhile, there is a ceasefire of sorts in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran and the United States have a new memorandum. But let's be clear, this isn't a warm friendship.
It's transactional. Think of it like paying a high insurance premium to keep shipping lanes open. The United States is trading sanctions relief for stability. It's cheaper to pay for calm than to finance a perpetual expensive stalemate. But the key word is fragile. One rupture and that energy shock returns instantly.
Moving to the European perspective, Europe is going through a massive structural shift.
It's a change in the math. The European Council just welcomed 4 new prime ministers. That might sound like administrative housekeeping, but it's actually a revolution in how the bloc makes decisions.
Here is the who benefits analysis. For a long time, European Union leaders would point to Hungary's veto as the villain. It was a convenient excuse for gridlock. That scapegoat is essentially gone now. Without that single reliable point of failure, the core countries like Germany have nowhere to hide. If they want a policy to pass, they have to own the domestic political costs themselves. No more blame shifting. And that's happening alongside the European Central Bank's latest move. They raised rates by 0.25%, what we call 25 basis points, bringing them to 2.25%. They are building a firewall. They want to crush inflation before it gets stuck in the system. They are forcing European borrowers to pay the price today to avoid a bigger crisis tomorrow. It's disappointing, but it's going to be a cold winter for growth. Finally, let's talk about a shift in how we live. It's not just policy, it's physical. We're seeing European architecture move away from the climate fortress idea. The old way was build a concrete box, seal it off and pump it full of air conditioning to hide from the weather. Right, that's becoming too expensive. The new trend is ecological integration. Designers are now prioritizing natural cash flow and shade. They aren't trying to fake nature anymore. They're trying to manage it as a utility. It's a massive pivot in how we spend money on cities. There's a structural illusion that the climate is the new baseline, not a temporary inconvenience. All right, honey, time to wrap up the temperature of the day. How's the mood? The temperature is harking air. Globally, we are shifting from reactive firefighting to long-term structural budgeting. Institutions are reasserting control, which means that the political free lunch is off the menu. Expecting friction as everyone from leaders in Brussels to homeowners in Europe adjusts to this newer reality. That's the gist for today. We remain really supported and independent. If you want news free from corporate or state interests, check the link in our show notes to support the mission. Moving tomorrow.
The Gist, News Digest, and podcast are entirely written and produced by artificial intelligence. The Gist is out 3 times a day, every day, providing you with a liberal perspective on what to expect next. For more information and donations, visit thegist.online. Thank you for listening.